Welcome back into the second set of the J. Rouse Show, and of course, you can reach the show at the JRouseShowAlive.com. The JRouseShowAlive.com. I just wanted to make sure that we remember that we have veterans. You know, we're talking about all these celebrities dying, but we also have veterans who have given their lives for our freedom and our way of life. So now, let me tell you why, as promised, I'm going to tell you why I am pissed off at the President of the United States.
Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah, I bet you want to hear it. Well, listen, here's the problem that I have with the president. And I tell you, I was very upset when I heard this because days had passed by and the president of the United States did not issue a statement, hadn't said anything about Michael Jackson. Now, this guy, look at the pictures here. This guy was a worldwide icon. Listen to what I'm saying. This guy was a worldwide icon. He sold over 750 million records. Let's say that again. 750 million. It was before his death. I read something online where he had over 35 million downloads once the news of his death really hit home. This is one guy who had people in Iran crying, Korea, everywhere crying. And you know what the President of the United States said? Finally, after some reporter asked Robert Gibbs doing a White House briefing, press briefing, well, the president has said that he was an extraordinarily talented person, but at the same time, he lived a troubled life. You know what I smelt there? I smelt politics. I smelt politics. It pissed me off. It really did. How about saying, listen, Michael Jackson was one of the greatest entertainers of our time. We mourn the death of this great American. He did so much for humanitarian, for the kids, and he has so many. You know, his humanitarian efforts are unmatched. He will be known as one of the greatest contributors, pop contributors in the Guinness Book World of Records. This is a record that this man has. We celebrate his life, his legacy, and we mourn the death of this superstar. And I will send my condolences, or I've sent my condolences to the family. How about something about that nature? How about just saying something like that? But you had to bring politics into it because, once again, he was an extraordinary person, but at the same time, he lived a troubled life. And the president sent a private note to the Jackson family. I bet you, I'm willing to bet you everything that I own, that at that time, he had not sent the Jackson family anything. And it just pissed me off to the highest level of festivity. I was upset. And you guys know me. I love President Barack Obama, but I really felt that he didn't do the right thing there. You know. Steve McNair. Talking about a shocker. Steve McNair shot dead by a 20-year-old female, aka his girlfriend. Now, I can't say her name, so I'm not even going to attempt that. But imagine that. Imagine you are the wife of Steve McNair. And then you get the news that not only is your husband dead, but he was murdered by his girlfriend. Wow. And according to our reports, she had no clue that this was going on. What does that say about Steve McNair? Does that tarnish his image? Well, I think it does. His image as a human being. Because no man is perfect. You shouldn't worship anyone. The only thing you should worship is your God. Whoever your God is. or even if you don't have a God, worship whatever, but do not worship man because man has flaws. And apparently, this guy had plenty of them. And what we're hearing is that the reason why she shot and killed Steve McNair was because Steve McNair, according to her, now I don't know if this is true or not, Steve McNair apparently had the hots for another young girl. And that this young lady thought that Steve McNair was about to cut her off, was about to kick her to the curb, and so she did what any young, dumb 20-year-old would do. She commits suicide. She shoots this man dead and commits suicide. And she tried to, according to police, stage the scene where she shot herself, that she would shoot herself and fall into the arms of Steve McNair, which she failed and she hit the ground. That is a tragic story. Tragic. You know, and in the beginning, when people were saying all these great things about Steve McNair, they were talking about he was a great family man, this, that, and the other. Listen, I'm not doubting that at all. All I'm saying to you at this point, the man was flawed. Steve McNair was not perfect. He had been arrested on drunk driving charges. People were like, whoa, Steve McNair. Wait a minute, this is the NFL Man of the Year. Arrested on drunk driving charges? Now Steve McNair. This guy had girlfriends. This guy was walking around saying, listen, my name is Steve McNair, star quarterback. You know what? I have money, fame, and fortune. Guess what? Get with me. It's a sad truth, but it's a reality, folks. And I, more than anyone, was devastated when I heard this. But let me see the hands of perfect people. Let me see the hands of a perfect human being. If you're out there listening to this, and if you're perfect, raise your hand. Matter of fact, send me an email telling me how perfect you are. thejrossshowalive.com. Because there's no perfect person amongst us. None. Zilch. I don't believe it. Take a look at this videotape. Now, this is actual videotape of this young lady. She was arrested 2 days before he was shot dead on a DUI charge. Now, here's the ironic and the coincidental fact that the officer who arrested her on drunk driving charges was the same officer who arrested Steve McNair a few years back. Take a look at this and we'll talk on the other side.
Yo, Jay, man, I'm sorry to interrupt, yo, but we got some breaking news, yo.
No, that's cool by all means. Boop, what's going on, man? What's up?
This just came across the wire, yo. It's about Steve McNair. Whoa, we got something else too, yo. But real quick, man, Steve McNair, yo, it's being reported, man, that he had an affair, man, a 6-year affair with a stripper, man.
What?
It's being reported, man, out there on the wires. And this just in, Walter Cronkite, man. Cronkite, I think that's how you say his name, yo.
Yeah.
He
What about
dead,
him?
man. He just died, man, at the age of 92.
What?
So,
Oh, man.
another one bites the dust, yo. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Walter Cronkite. Oh, my goodness. Dead at the age of 92. Yeah, you're right, man. Wow, that's another one.
yep.
Man,
So is, yo.
what is going on? This is nuts.
I don't know, yo.
Wow. But let's get back to this thing with Steve McNair, man. Are you sure?
Yeah, according to the wire, yo. I mean, she knew he was married. She just
What?
wanted him to pay her
Oh,
bills,
my
yo.
goodness,
And
wow.
and they were all good. And, according to the wire, he did, man. Wow.
Wow, his image is just being trashed. Wow, man. Wow. Turns out Steve McNair was a real one. Oof. Tell you what, we don't have any information on this. We're not going to talk about it today. We'll talk about it next show. Let's go ahead and break. Third and final set of the J. Rouse Show coming up.